going on, everybody? Today we are going to be playing our first live tournament since moving out here to Las Vegas about a week ago. I'm at the Venetian. We're going to play the $400 DeepStack. It is a 40,000 starting chips, 100 starting blinds, 40-minute blind levels, 150K guarantee, 2-day tournament. Day 2 starts back up tomorrow about this same time. Just looking to make day 2, because if you make day 2, you're already in the money, and then from there, it's just all looking up. So I'm going to do everything I can to play my best cards and do my best not to get coolered. So hopefully some good fortune comes our way. Hopefully we can play our absolute best. I will put the structure up here after I get finished with this. I'll be back with some hand histories on the first break, and hopefully I'll have some good news for you guys. Hopefully we can increase this stack just a little bit from 40K, and like I said, I'll be back after the first break. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so we are on the first break. Played 3 levels, 40-minute blinds. Starting chips, 40,000, like I said before. Currently up to 53,000 chips. Played a lot of hands. The first 2 levels, third level kind of cooled off a little bit. Had a couple of pretty big hands. Played them pretty well. I missed one bluff spot with King 9 when I opened in the cutoff. The button called, and then the small and the big blind called as well. The flop came ace, jack, brick, rainbow board, and I bet the flop on a pure bluff, obviously, and I got 2 callers. Turn came a 6 of spades, which was also a rainbow card, and then I checked that, thinking that since they called the flop, at least one of the players is going to have some type of weak ace, or even potentially a jack, and instead of bluffing the river, I got some showdown value with a 9. I could have turned my 9 into a bluff. However, I thought that it was going to get called, and unfortunately, like I said, I missed out on a bluff spot. The hand that ended up winning was jack deuce suited out of the big blind, so could have done a little bit better there. The most interesting hand I've played so far was when I was on the button. The middle position opened to 500 when it was 100, 200 with a 200 ante. I had ace king offsuit on the button with the ace of spades. The middle position, again, raised to 500. I 3-bet to 1.6K. He called. The flop came 6, 8, 9 with 2 spades. I continuation bet. I didn't figure his range contained a lot of those cards. He flatted the 1.6. And the turn came the 10 of spades. And this player had just lost a pretty big pot, so we only had about 12,000 chips behind. There was roughly 4,000 in the pot or so, and on the turn I put them all in with the ace of spades, and he just folded. I thought that was an interesting play because most of the time if I bet small, he's probably going to continue or call again, and then if the river bricks out or improves something that he is going to have in his range, I just end up losing the pot. So I figured the best thing to do was apply max pressure right then and there, and if I get snapped off, then I get snapped off, but I figured most of the time he's probably going to fold, which he did. I'm noticing a lot of things with the table that I'm currently playing at. A lot of the players are overplaying their middle pairs. A lot of the players are overplaying their hands in general. They're opening pretty small to like 2.1 or exactly 2x, so it allows a lot of people into the pot. Some people are making it like 5 and 6x pre, so it's kind of easy to get away from like middling hands or kind of trash hands in general. It's very interesting so far, but I have a pretty good read on my table. Table has been pretty soft, and it's kind of allowed me to do the things that I've wanted to do. Make some continuation bets, get some folds, pick up some pots, pick up some blinds here and there. I'm up about 32.5 big blinds right now from our original starting stack, so I'm really proud of that, really happy, and I'll be back with some more updates here on the next break. Thanks for watching. I wanted to give you guys an example of what I was talking about with some of these overplays, and it happened on the very last hand before break. There was a middle position open to 700, which got called by the button and the small blind. And the flop came 10 deuce 3, 2 clubs, 10 of diamonds. And basically what happened is the middle position original raiser bet, the button raised to 4,000, and the small blind flatted. The original raiser folded. So that's some pretty strong small blind play, given the fact that he almost had no investment into the pot up until the point where the button raised and the small blind flatted the 4K. That's going to signal some strength in my opinion. And on the turn, It was an absolute brick, and it got checked back to the button, who raised the flop. She just rips it in for like 150 big blinds, which is just kind of unreasonable in my opinion, because you're only going to get called by hands that are better than yours, and you're never going to get action from anything any worse than your hand. And she had king 10 offsuit, which is top pair, but she got snapped off by bottom set. And again, boom, boom, brick on the turn and river, and she just lost 100 big blinds for no reason when she could have tried to get value from hands that were worse than hers if the guy doesn't have a set, and instead just gave away 100 big blinds after 3 levels of play. And she had played pretty solid up until that point, so I found it really strange. Maybe it was something to do with the fact that it was the last hand before break and she just wanted to take the pot as it was, or try to get the flush draw with the clubs out of there, but she got absolutely snapped and unfortunately lost the majority of her chips, which was just a complete overplay. So I'm hoping that something like that falls into my lap too, where I'm able to pick up a big pot, given the fact that someone is just not thinking clearly about the hand or how that could have possibly been perceived by the other players. All right, guys, we are on break number 2. We've been playing for a couple hours now. I have the same amount of chips as I had at the last break, actually, so the blinds have gone up, but my stack has not increased or decreased at all. I've got 53,000 chips. Blinds are going to be 400, 800, 800. I had 2 really interesting pots that I played over the last couple of hours. So there was an original raiser in middle position. It opened up to 1.3, and I was in the small blind for 300. It was 300, 600, 600. I had pocket jacks, and I 3-bet to 4.3K, and the original raiser 4-bet to 12,000 flat. And I thought that the worst hand he would 4-bet me with would be ace-king offsuit, ace-king suited, but a lot of the other hands that he's going to be 4-betting me with doesn't include pocket 9s, doesn't include pocket 10s. I thought it was going to be queens plus, and at the absolute worst, ace-king off, maybe ace-queen suited, but I really doubt that because he's had it pretty much every time he's 3-bet people, and this was the first time I saw him 4-bet. So after about a minute of deliberation, I decided to fold, which doesn't make me feel super great because who really knows, it could have been a flip, but at the end of the day, I didn't want to risk my tournament life because he was ahead of me in chips by almost double, and that was either all my chips or double me up, so I decided to fold and pick a better spot. The other hand that I played was small blind versus big blind. The small blind completed for 600, and I had ace-jack offsuit, and I made it 2,600, and he snap jams on me for about 23 or 24,000 chips, I can't remember exactly. And again, after a little bit of deliberation, I decided to fold. It's someone that's been engaging me in just random conversation throughout the day, so I didn't think that he would be doing this too light. And then he shows me ace-8 offsuit, so I had the best hand there, but it was for half of my stack, and again, I wasn't in a position where I thought that I probably had the best hand there very often. It seemed like he was probably trapping me. Unfortunately, he was trapping himself, and I just happened to have the best of it and decided not to call. So those are the 2 real important hands that I played over the last couple of hours. I'm going to try to rebound from those things, but again, my stack hasn't dwindled. I haven't been crushed or decimated in any way, shape, or form. Really looking forward to the next couple of hours of play. Hopefully I'll have some better news to update at the end of the next break. Peace.
2-4. Brandon, you want 2-4?
Late registration is over. Blinds are going to be 1,000, 1,500, 1,500. I currently have 112,000 chips. All right, well, this last couple of hours went extremely well. Played several hands, got myself up to 114,000 chips. Blinds are going to come back to 1,000, 1,500, 1,500, or about 75 big blinds in my stack. Had a couple of hands, didn't go so well for me. I got down to about 35,000 chips. I got ace-queen offsuit in against pocket 8s for about 12,000. Guy flopped a set, can't really do much about that. Next couple of hands went by, and I still had about the same amount of chips. And basically what happened was I got pocket 8s under the gun, opened up to 2 big blinds. The middle position person called, and then the big blind just calls as well. Flop comes ace, 8, 3, 2 spades. So I flopped a set, which is awesome, against someone who hopefully has an ace. Big blind checks. I continuation bet 2 big blinds. The middle position person just called, and then the big blind actually raises to 16,000. I had originally made it 4, he went to 16. I sat there and deliberated for a while and then went all in. He snap called with ace-king offsuit, which is really surprising because he didn't 3-bet pre-flop. Really, really interesting play by that guy, but it doubled me up to roughly 100,000 chips. And then the only other hand that I actually had to play was the very last hand right before break, which I had pocket kings. There was an open from 1,200 to 3,500. You got 2 callers, and I made it at roughly 20,000, with the original raiser only having about 30,000. So what I was trying to do was commit them to the pot and get them to go all in so that I could get heads up against just one other person and hopefully win all of their chips. Everybody folded. I picked up about 15,000 chips there, including the big blinds and the antes, and here we are on break right now. So I'll see you guys after this hand. Late registration is over, so we're hoping that we get to bag some chips and go on to day 2 and already be in the money. There's going to be 25 people that get taken to day 2. There's currently 102 people left, so we have to fade 77 more people, and hopefully everything continues to go well. I'll update you guys here soon. All right, we're on the 3rd break, I believe, and wow, that went really bad. I've been absolutely card dead this entire time. 67K chips, coming back to 1,500, 3,000, 3,000, so leaves me with like 22 and a half big blinds. Didn't have any notable hands to play because I had 10-6 off, 10-5, Jack-4, nothing good. I had ace-queen 3 times, but we had this crazy maniac at our table that just basically called with any 2 cards for the last 2 hours, and finally it got moved to a different table. He was on my direct left, and anytime I ever tried to do anything, he'd just flat with like queen deuce when I would raise open. He just hit a deuce or 2 deuces, or he flat with 5-6 suited, and it came 5-5-6 for him a couple of times. It's really, really crazy, but like I said, they moved him. 22 and a half bigs. Not in a bad position, actually, because there's 62 players remaining and 26 move on. So something along the lines of like 40% of the people left are going to move on. So I just need to get myself a double up, and then I'm in good position to make tomorrow. It's really the main goal again, like I said, boys and girls, make tomorrow. And if we can do that, then I'll be extremely happy. But right now, definitely got to get to work and try to go from 22 bigs to 30, 40, 50. If I could have 50 big blinds coming in tomorrow, that'd be absolutely unreal. But at this point, like I said, I'm just trying to make tomorrow in general. Been here for about 8 or 9 hours, I think, at this point, and just want to do my best to make sure that I can get there tomorrow. So thanks again for watching, and I'll give you some updates here in a little bit. All right, guys, well, we busted the tournament. After break number 4, came back with 72K, opened up a couple of pots, lost every single one of them, got down to 40,000. Cutoff opened to 7,000 with pocket 7s. I had pocket 5s on the button, shoved for 40. He calls and he holds. So long day of poker, played like 9.5 hours, 10.5 hours, something along those lines. And it was just really unfortunate to go card dead between the like 2nd and 4th break. Basically just got absolutely demolished over and over and over and over. Couldn't connect with any boards, and basically couldn't get any cards that were, good in our favor or anything along those lines. So played pretty well, all things considered. Pretty happy. Got 58th out of like 240, but unfortunately that's not going to get us to day 2. So next time, hopefully things go better. Thanks again for watching.